Well. The NBA season has begun. And as we all know, that means it's the season for bad trade articles by Bleacher Report. So I got one right here. Bleacher Report, it's one trade every NBA team would make if the deadline was today. There was a sample trade. It wasn't a sample trade. It was one of the trades from this I saw posted. And I was like, damn, that's like, it's really, really bad. So I figured, why not go out of my way to take a look at some of these, show them to you guys, give my thoughts, and yeah, just get into it. So, first trade we got for the Atlanta Hawks, Asa Newell to the Miami Heat for Kasparis Jonas. So, thing is, they're both rookies, and Jokic Jonas was the 20th pick, and Asa Newell was he was the 23rd. So it's essentially it's just functioning like a draft do-over. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't exactly say it feels all that necessary. We haven't seen a whole lot from Asa Newell. Asa Newell we've seen a bit, but not a whole lot from Jokic Jonas with him dealing with his injury. I don't know. It feels like a very nothing trade to me. I wouldn't do it. So I disagree with the title already. One trade every NBA team would make if the deadline was today. I don't think so. I don't think they would make that trade. It doesn't make sense. It's too early on. We have to see how these players develop for, at least the season. Maybe in the offseason they'll do it. Who knows? But right now it's just no part of that makes much sense. We got the Boston Celtics. Anthony Simons in a first-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for Nicholas Claxton. This one I could actually see. I know Keita, he hasn't been playing too terribly for the Celtics, but I'm kind of I'm at a point with them where they very obviously need an upgrade at center, because they basically just have Keita, and his on-off numbers are insane. If Keita, the moment Keita's off the floor and they have someone else trying to play center like Luka Garza, anything like that, it just does not work. So I can get behind that. The 2027 first-round pick, top 5 protected, that will honestly not be a very valuable pick, assuming they still have Tatum and Brown, which is still looking very likely. They'll almost certainly be in the playoffs, and having it top 5 protected just in case, just in case everything goes wrong for whoever knows, who knows why. I can see that. Anthony Simons, he's been decent for them. He's been scoring for them when they've needed scoring with the lack of Tatum, but I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't really fit what they're going for with the whole, defend thing. Not that, Anthony Simons, he hasn't been the worst defender in the league, but he hasn't been great. He really has not been great. So I can see that working out. The Nets, so it's just, all right, this is very lazy. Okay, they had the same trade I know it's a decent trade, but you can't just have the same trade for both teams. Because actually, to be fair, thinking about it from the Brooklyn Nets side, I like it, but I don't, because basically all they're getting back is Anthony Simons, but he fills a very similar role to what Cam Thomas already fills. So unless they're planning on moving on from Cam Thomas, which is, it's likely, I don't think they necessarily need Anthony Simons around like that. They both play shooting guard. They both are score first. Cam Thomas cannot play make. Anthony Simons can sort of play make sometimes, and the first round pick is essentially it's nothing. It's not gonna convey, and it would convey, but it'll be a very high pick, to where I guess I feel like they could get something a lot better for Nicholas Claxton, especially from a team like the Lakers or any other team that gets desperate for center play as time goes on. They have Jonas Valanciunas trying to retire and go back to Europe over on the Nuggets. So they will need a little backup center very soon. Okay, next we got the Charlotte Hornets, Kyle Kuzma, Miles Bridges to the Milwaukee Bucks with Kyle Kuzma and a 2023 first round pick swap, top 3 protected. That's not awful. The one where I'd have with it is I feel like that 2032 pick swap would genuinely just be not worth anything. I don't think the Bucks are going to be good by 2032. to where they're honestly they might actually be worse than the Hornets. To where I don't know. I don't see the vision with that. I feel like they're kind of just doing a 1-for-1 player swap. And no offense to Kyle Kuzma, but Miles Bridges, who I do not like, is significantly better than him. The reason why I don't like Miles Bridges, it's an off the court thing. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's not necessarily like, I don't see it. I don't see the vision with that. I don't see the vision. It's kind of just a 1-for-1 swap. I feel like the Hornets are kind of losing out on it. So yeah. Oh wait, thinking about it, this does make sense for the exact thing I just said. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to be worse than the Hornets, so the Hornets will most likely get their pick in 2032. Actually, maybe I would do that because that's going to be a very valuable pick. Very, very valuable. Yeah, I would probably actually do that. Nikola Vucevic for Daniel Gafford, Jaden Hardy, and a 2030 second round pick and a 2032 second round pick. I mean, I like it. Daniel Gafford's not a bad player. Jaden Hardy is just, yeah, he's whatever. My main thing is I feel like especially with the way Vucevic has been playing, I feel like the Bulls could like almost certainly get a first. Like there's gonna be a team out there that's willing to give up a first for him. I don't know who it is. Maybe the Warriors, maybe just one of the teams like that, but someone would give up a first for Vooch. I swear that they would. The Cavaliers, Darius Garland. No, what? That is awful. That's just a bad trade. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm not a huge fan of Franz Wagner. There's just something about the way Franz plays. I think it's just his lack of shooting I don't like. Don't get me wrong, Garland isn't like he's not a lights out shooter either, but like he can get a three if they need it. And also, with the playmaking, I don't know. Also, I really do enjoy the fit of Darius Garland next to Donovan Mitchell with Evan Mobley on the block. I like it. It works well. I know obviously Garland, he's a bit injury prone, but I feel like Wagner, he's not exactly an Iron Man himself, so where I don't think I would do that. I think Garland, again, for me I would much rather have Garland than, Wagner, like any day of the week. I would probably take him. No offense to Franz Wagner. Maybe I just haven't watched enough of him, but in general, I don't know. I personally just like Garland more. I would not do that trade. Like, and I think it works well. Like, I think the two of them just work well together, Dallas Mavericks, Anthony Davis to the Detroit Pistons for Tobias Harris, Isaiah Stewart, Jaden Ivey, 2026 first, 2028 first, 2027 second, 2031 second. I mean, if I'm the Mavericks, I'm doing that. Would the Pistons do that though? Because the thing is, Anthony Davis is very injury prone, and they've, the Detroit Pistons have been struggling with that. Not too majorly, but they certainly have a couple players that are out quite consistently. And I don't know, defensively that team would be insane. Offensively, a team would be insane. Yeah, maybe I'd do it. My main thing is Jaden Ivey. I really enjoy Jaden Ivey and those two firsts, but I guess I don't know. It's difficult because you don't know how many years you're getting out of Anthony Davis. He's already, I think he's like 30. He's into his 30. He's either 30 exactly or he's like 31, 32. And plus he's already super injury prone. So as he gets older, who knows where that can lead? Who knows what kind of thing you would get? I don't know. I'm on and off about it. Okay, next we got the Denver Nuggets. Zeke Naji, Deron Holmes II, and a 2030 first-round pick swap to the Boston Celtics for Sam Hauser. I would do that. If I'm the Nuggets, I would absolutely do that. Zeke Naji hasn't been all that good. Deron Holmes, he has, sometimes he's decent. I think, currently, they're having a lack of shooting currently after trading Michael Porter Jr. Because Cam Johnson has not been very good for them. But I genuinely do believe Cam Johnson will get used to that system, and I do expect to see him. I do honestly expect to see him to start like balling out, especially into the second half of the season. But he'd be a good piece off the bench. I can definitely see him providing some good shooting for them. Yeah, I feel like it'd be good. Detroit Pistons, okay. Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, Ron Holland II, and a 2039 first round pick to the Utah Jazz for Lauri Markkanen. This is, I'm not gonna lie, this is not much different than the package they had him using to get to get Anthony Davis. And I think I would, difficult actually. Would you rather have Anthony Davis or Lauri Markkanen? I feel like a couple years ago this was a very obvious answer, but again, with the age of Anthony Davis, would I do it? Yeah, I would rather have Anthony Davis. Lauri Markkanen's been amazing to start off this season, but I feel like you just get a defensive end of the ball. But actually, the more I think about it, I'm leaning towards Lauri Markkanen, because Lauri Markkanen, I feel like I don't know. To me, he just makes sense to be a Piston. I can 100% imagine him being a Piston. I would do that. You know what? I was gonna argue against it, but no, I would do that. Yeah, I would absolutely do that. Trace Jackson Davis and a 2030 second round pick to the Washington Wizards for Justin Champagnie. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I do like it. My one issue with it is, the Warriors already are very lacking at their center position, essentially only having Draymond Green, and Trace Jackson Davis has been like he's been their off the bench guy, and I feel like, if they're getting rid of him, I don't know. Well, they have Post as well. I completely forgot about Quinton Post, but how many minutes? Let's Google this. How many minutes has he been getting recently? Has he been playing? Yeah, I mean, he's been a bit on and off. I'm assuming he's had some injuries, but I mean, yeah, he was getting very, very weird rotations. Shout out Steve Kerr. Some of these rotations are very weird, because sometimes you'll have a game where you'll have 18 minutes and he'll put up some decent stats. I know obviously this is stat watch, and who knows what his defense was like in those games, but Justin Champagnie would be fire on that team though. I'm leaving that one up to the Warriors fans to decide, because I don't know. I would accept that if I was Washington Wizards, because Justin Champagnie, he's good, but I can't imagine you can get anything too crazy for him. So I would probably take that. Tari Eason to the 76ers for Jared McCain. No. What? Okay. Listen. There's no way I'm ever doing this trade. If I'm the Rockets, I do it 100%. If I'm the 76ers, I'm saying no. I'm hanging up the phone. I'm being like, no. Do not call me again. That's insane. Jared McCain is amazing. Jared McCain has been amazing. I know obviously he's been injured, but like that man can ball. Okay, that man can absolutely ball out. And Tari Eason, he's good, but he ain't Jared McCain. Jared McCain is like star level capabilities, where Tari Eason, he's a very, very good role player. I'm not doing that trade. Straight 1-for-1, I'm not doing that. If the Rockets offer me Tari Eason and maybe a first, I'd do that. Not one of Phoenix's first, because Phoenix's first, those are very valuable, but I would do that. I would do that. Tari Eason and a first for Jared McCain, I'd consider it, but just the straight 1-for-1, there's no way I'm doing that. No way. Indiana Pacers, Jarris Walker for Yves Messi. I don't think this is necessary. Jarris Walker has been, he's been okay. He's been okay. I don't think the Pelicans would accept that. I was thinking about it more. Jarris Walker, I was gonna say Jarris Walker has been good, but he hasn't really. But I don't think the Pacers should do anything that major right now. I mean, like, if they can get like a couple good selling trades to try to be bad this year, because I believe they have their first round pick, I would just try to tank, get whatever we can with Tyrese being out. But you can solve the center issue with just J Huff being their best center. You can solve that in free agency. You don't have to make a trade in the season for that. Los Angeles Clippers, we got John Collins and a 2030 first round pick, top 10 protected for DeMar DeRozan. No. What? No. Do not do that. If I'm the Clippers, there's no way I'm doing that. That is insane, because they don't have many firsts. And why would they just add another aging star? Like, it's just like, yeah, let's just get every guy who used to be good 3 years ago who's over the age of 30. Let's get them all, and let's just see what happens. Let them ball out. I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm doing that. I'm the Clippers. I mean, to be fair, I can see the Clippers doing that based on what they've been doing. But if I'm the Clippers GM, first of all, I wouldn't have had that shady deal with Kawhi. And second of all, I am not doing this trade. There's no way I'm doing that trade. That is insane. The Lakers, okay. Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Connect, and a 2031 first round pick. Pretty sure that's one of their few. I think that might be their last first round pick they have available to them for Daniel Gafford. I would do that if I'm the Mavericks. I don't think I'm doing that if I'm the Lakers. It's difficult to say because Ayton, he hasn't been terrible for them. Daniel Gafford would definitely be a major upgrade to them, and then have Ayton come off the bench. Like, that would work. That would work well for them, but I'm more so just curious because that's a lot. That's essentially some of their last assets they have left. So that would have to be the move in their mind. They would have to be like, we make this move and we're good. And they would be. They actually would be very good. And also, you're getting Luka's old center back. I would do it. I would absolutely do it. But I don't know. I feel like the Mavericks could get more for Daniel Gafford because a lot of teams are lacking as far as center play goes, and they need a good center, and Daniel Gafford is absolutely that. So I would probably try to get a better trade for him. But if that's the only trade available, I'll take it. Why not? John Morant to the Kings for Malik Monk, Dennis Schroeder, Devin Carter, 2026 first-round pick, top 3 protected, a 2030 first-round pick swap. I'm not doing that if I'm the Kings. My personal opinion with the Kings is I think they should just sell everyone. The only guy they probably won't be able to sell is Zach LaVine because his contract is insane. But sell everything. Get rid of Sabonis, get rid of DeRozan, and kind of just chill. Genuinely just chill because they're not good. The team is not good. Trading for John Morant is not going to change the fact that the team is not good. They'll be a bit better, but they still will not be good. And they're just going to get stuck in the same thing of just being mid. Genuinely, they'll just be super mid. Does not make sense to me at all. They should just be trying to rebuild, draft some good people, leave it there. Miami Heat, Tyler Hero and Simon Fontecchio for Jean Morant. No. Again, it doesn't make sense. Miami Heat, like that, I would say at this point, Tyler Hero is better than John Morant, which is insane because every other year that wasn't even close to being true. But at this point, Tyler Hero is better than John Morant. And we'll still just have the Heat being in this kind of mid setting where they're bad, but they're good. You know what I mean? They'll just be getting low playoff seedings, or they'll just be getting losing in the play-in again. It doesn't make sense to me. Kyle Kuzma, Andre Jackson Jr., and a 2031 first-round pick swap, top 2 protected, to the Trailblazers for Jeremy Grant. Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, I would do that. Milwaukee Bucks, I would do that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Jeremy Grant, he's been playing decently. And I feel like Trailblazers, they get enough out of it. Considering Jeremy Grant was awful last year, the fact that they're getting anything out of him is good. So I would take that because you don't know when Jeremy Grant might return back to his last season's form, and I feel like the Bucks would be desperate enough to do this trade with just the hope that maybe he stays good, and I feel like that's enough for them. Timberwolves, we got Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, and a 2029 second-round pick to the Memphis Grizzlies for John Morant. Yeah, so I do like this trade. The one thing I would do differently is if I was the Grizzlies, I'd try to get a first-round pick out of them instead of the second-round pick, because the thing, if they have Ja and if they have, they have Anthony Edwards, that would definitely answer their point guard question, and that is one of the few issues the team has right now. So, if they're able to do that, I don't see why not give them a first round pick for a year, 2 years from now, because the team's gonna most likely be good. They're almost certainly gonna be in the playoffs. And yeah, I don't think they'd be able to get much better for their pick than that. So I would do that, but just give them a first. Pelicans, we got Yves Messi to the Indiana Pacers for Jarris Walker, a 2027 second round pick and a 2028 second round pick. Again, this is weird because this is essentially the same trade before. I think this just has more seconds, but I guess if I was the Pelicans, I would do it for those seconds. But no, would I? No, because Yves Messi is good. No, I don't think I'm doing that. I'm not doing that if I'm the Pelicans. It doesn't make sense to me. And like I said before, I don't think it makes sense for the Pacers to do this because the center issue they can fix. They can fix that in free agency eventually. I think Isaiah Hardenstein is coming up soon, and Halliburton's back. Drop a bit of money on that. You know, they saved all that money by getting rid of Miles Turner. They might as well. They genuinely might as well do it. To me, that makes sense. The Knicks, Gerson Yabusele, Pacome Dadier, Tyler Kolek, and a 2026 first-round pick for Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome's been... How has Ty Jerome been? I have not watched like any Grizzlies game this year because the Grizzlies have not been good, and I would rather not look at that. Well, he hasn't played at all. Okay. it's difficult to... I know. I'm not... That's giving up a lot. And Ty Jerome has not played. He has not played at all this season. You don't know how good he's going to be coming out. No, I'm not doing that. It's so difficult for me to spend so much on the dude when you don't know what he plays like. Like, obviously, you know what he plays like, but you don't know what he's going to play like this year. You don't know if he's going to be better. You don't know if he's going to be worse. And to give all that, I'm not doing it. Okay. Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the trade I saw, and I was like, wow, this trade is bad. Nikola Topic, who's out right now. Prayers up to Nikola Topic because he's dealing with cancer. But Nikola Topic, who's out for the rest of the season, obviously. Kenrich Williams to the Phoenix Suns for Grayson Allen, by the way, someone who's been shooting completely lights out, who's been playing phenomenally this last like week or so. And a 2027 first-round pick. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the picks the Suns have that are going to be like, it's going to be near the end of the draft, but still, giving up a 2027 first-round pick and the best player to a rookie. He's not a rookie, but he has played damn near no minutes in the NBA, Nikola Topic, and Kenrich Williams, who's just kind of mid. And to give them the better player and a first-round pick, it just doesn't make any sense to me. No part of that makes any sense to me. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. This trade does not make sense on either side. OKC doesn't need to upgrade. They're playing phenomenally. It's better for them if they just don't trade anyone because, you know, he might mess up that momentum. And the Suns, they're not getting anything back for Grayson Allen. Especially Grayson Allen, there's so many teams that could use him. The Magic could very easily use him. I know they don't have any first to give after that damn Desmond Bane trade, but my point is there is teams they can find. Like the Nuggets could definitely use some extra shooting. There's teams they could find to take Grayson Allen and give them a first to where it just doesn't make sense to me. No part of it makes sense. Grayson Allen just dropped 42 points on 10 threes, shooting 75% from the field. No, 66%. I did the math wrong in my head. Don't worry about that. But my point is he would play amazing on, you know, any other team. And many teams need shooting. They need what Grayson Allen offers. It doesn't make sense for them to accept a trade like this. Now I'm curious to see what trade they have for the Phoenix Suns because I feel like it's probably going to also be adjacent to Grayson Allen. But I hope it's not as buns as this trade is. This trade is absolutely awful. Oh, my God. Orlando Magic, Jonathan Isaac, Jet Howard, 2026 second-round pick, and a 2028 second-round pick to the Sacramento Kings from Malik Monk. I would do that. I think the Kings could get a bit more for Malik Monk, but actually, yeah. Looking at it now, because Jet Howard, he's not good. He hasn't developed in the way people thought he would. And Jonathan Isaac is absolutely washed defensively, which was like his whole thing before. I mean, he's still decent, but he's not, you know, he ain't all that. Wait, what the hell? Malik Monk has an XO tattoo? Damn. The Weeknd. He's a big The Weeknd fan. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I think the Kings could get a lot more for Malik Monk. And, you know, I would hope to see him go to a different team than the Magic. Yeah. All right. Next team, 76ers. Jared McCain. No. Okay, I already said no. This trade is bad. And by the way, like I said before, this shit is lazy, okay? Just putting the same trade, just flipping it and giving it to the other team. No. I want 30 unique trades. Come on, Bleacher Report. Phoenix Suns, Nick Richards, and a 2027 first-round pick to the... No! Who would give a first for Jose Alvarado and Nick Richards? Nick Richards could actually have value. Like, I would much rather see, rather than trading him in a first for someone who they apparently think is better, you know, I would trade Nick Richards for a first. I feel like they could definitely get a first out of a team. Although Nick Richards hasn't been playing the best, he has had points in which he has played good to where they can get assets out of him. They shouldn't have to give assets to get a player who's still not very good. Respect to Jose Alvarado. Defensively, he's good, but like he just doesn't, not a fan of it. Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson, Chris Murray, 2028 first round pick swap, and a 2031 first round pick to the Utah Jazz for Lauri Markkanen. No. I was thinking about it. To give Scoot Henderson for that when he has so much potential upside, it'll be like the little graphics of Shea and the little graphics of Jalen Green, please, and the little graphics of Tyrese Halliburton. I don't see it. I feel like they're giving up a lot and giving up a 2031 first round pick. I know it's top 10 protected, but still, you know what I mean? Because that's in the lottery. They could get unlucky, be one of the worst teams in the league, and drop to the 11th pick. Boom. Now the Utah Jazz has it. It's I don't like it. I don't like that trade. I don't like that trade for Trailblazers. If I'm the Utah Jazz, I'm 100% taking that. That's great. But no, I'm not taking that. Sacramento Kings, Malik Monk, Dennis Schroeder, Devin Carter, 2026 first round pick, and a 2030 first round pick swap to Sacramento Kings for Ja Morant. Oh, okay, I'm dumb. They meant to the Memphis Grizzlies for Ja Morant. I think this is more or less. I feel like I've seen this trade before. No, I'm not doing that. Actually, no, I would do this. 'Cause I think the thing about the trade before, the thing I didn't like about it is it was seconds instead of firsts. I don't know. I'm confused now. I might do this. I could see myself doing that trade. San Antonio Spurs, Stephon Castle, Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, Kelly Olynyk, and just 3 first-round picks for Giannis. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Spurs need to do that, but if I'm the Bucks, I'm taking that. I know Giannis, he's worth a lot, but I would do that. I would personally do that. That feels too good to say no to. I would like an extra pick for this year if I'm trading Giannis, because this draft coming up, the 2026 draft, is phenomenal. So I would try to get more into that. But, I feel like it's good. RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, and a 2028 first round pick, top 5 protected for Ja Morant. I wouldn't do this if I was the Raptors. I feel like this doesn't really get them over the hump. I guess the East is weak. But also, who knows how Ja's going to be playing? Because he's not been good so far this year. So the idea that he's going to get to the Raptors and magically start balling out is, I feel like it'd be a very, very much so an overstatement. This draft, this thing I feel like we've seen before, Lauri Markkanen to the Detroit Pistons. This is more or less the same. It's just a bit less. I think they have less first-round picks. I would do this if I'm the Pistons. Oh, I see why they have less first, because now they have Jaden Ivey and Ron Holland. Before it was just one of them. I believe before it was just Jaden Ivey. Yeah, I would do that. If I'm the Pistons, I'd do that. If I was the Jazz, I would do that. But my issue with the Jazz is I feel like Danny Ainge, he wants a lot for Lauri Markkanen. He's gonna make a team try to give him like 3 firsts for him, and it's just not gonna happen. But, they ever get realistic? Sure. So for the Washington Wizards, we got CJ McCollum, Bub Carrington, Cam Whitmore, 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds for LaMelo. Giving up Bub Carrington for that. I don't know. I feel like, I wouldn't do it. Because this implies that the Wizards are like desperate to get their guy, and they have the draft coming up this year that they can very easily get their guy. I think my thing is, if they get to this draft and there is no one for them, if they don't get their guy from it, then yeah, do it. But at this point, I wouldn't do it. I feel like there's still a lot more they can get out of that. But yeah, pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Me just reacting to these. Not, some decent, but a lot of very bad trades. Let me know what you think in the comments below if any of these teams should do these trades. And yeah, let me know.